You ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Friday, March 4th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that be on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like, hit the share, would be much appreciated. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, also much appreciated. So today we're doing the show obviously a little bit earlier, okay, normal time about 6 p.m. Central Time, but I gave you guys a little update on when we were going to be doing the show yesterday because I was watching the Combine. We did not do the show because of that scenario. I had to watch the Combine, had to see what, we're going to be dealing with in the draft coming up with the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, and the tight ends, who, by the way, stole the show yesterday or during this Combine. I mean, they all performed phenomenally. There's some good things, some bad things, but we'll talk about all the good things. My kind of takeaway from yesterday's set of drills with the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. And by the way, the wide receivers, oh my goodness, they completely stole the show from the quarterbacks and the tight ends. I mean, they were the main focal point yesterday, and I don't think that was going to be the case going into yesterday's drills, but it ended up happening anyways. But hey, before we get to any of the news that we got here today, the NFL became the first professional sports league to get rid of all COVID-19 protocols. Fucking right, boys. It's gone. COVID's dead. See you later. How you doing? Keep it moving. Pumped about it. So basically what that means, no testing, masks, I'm sure, don't have to wear them because I think about over 90% of the league is completely vaccinated, has their boosters, has all that nonsense. So I think by now COVID is over and done with. I think we'll start to see the trend of other professional sports leagues start to get rid of their COVID protocols because it's kind of irrelevant now. So pumped about that, pumped for the NFL to get rid of that, but now it is time to get into the news from yesterday and a little bit of what happened or what has been said today. So are you ready to get your fix? So yesterday, obviously, we had the scouting combine, the first day of on-field drills with the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, and the tight ends. Now, the tight ends started the day out. They were running their 40s, obviously, and did a bunch of, running drills. They didn't show the bench press like they have in the past. They didn't show the vert and all that other nonsense. They basically just did their 40s and a bunch of route running skills, maybe a little bit of blocking skills on the side, but that's kind of what I seen from the tight ends. The tight ends, it's an all right group. Okay, they're not a great group by any means. There's about two, top guys that really are probably going to make some noise in the NFL coming up. And obviously, the combine is basically just so the NFL scouts have a chance to get a good or a better look at somebody that they might be, investing in for their franchise down the road when the draft hits, I believe, sometime in April. So tight ends have a good group, not a great group. There's a couple quick guys out there, but there's also a couple guys that, they're going to be dogs in the NFL. The quarterback grouping, we might have some guys than we previously thought. A lot of people thought or are thinking this is not a big quarterback draft class. I mean, there's really not a guy that stands out. Kenny Pickett is obviously one of those guys that stands out. Okay, by the way, 8.5 inch hands should be, or it's labeled as small as fuck. Okay, for the NFL. And basically, if you haven't seen it, how you measure your hand is you got an 8.5 by 11 inch paper. You take your hand, and you basically put it on one end and stretch it out with your palm down as far as you can. So I basically have about 8-inch hands, almost. I'm about a half an inch away. So, me and Kenny Pickett, we're pretty close, okay? But anyways, there's a couple more dogs in there. I mean, Sam Howell, quarterback from the North Carolina Tar Heels, he has a pretty decent ball. There was some times where he was throwing the ball that it was a little bit behind the receiver. I'm sure that's just because it's the combine. You don't want to go too hard. You don't want to, and obviously with the wide receivers that were running the routes, you don't have that built-up chemistry that you might have with your receivers from your college or, just over the years of having that chemistry, that bond. Obviously, they know exactly what routes they're running and when to throw the ball, how to throw the ball. But it's basically, are you on the same page as the other guys? Some wide receivers are quick. Actually, a lot of them are quick, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Malik Willis from Liberty University, kind of a guy that was, I'd say, underrated or slept on. Basically, throughout the whole college season, he started to pick up steam towards the end of the season. A lot of people kind of looked at him like, okay, he could be good one day, but I don't think he has all the intangibles just yet to be an NFL superstar, to be an NFL starting quarterback. And from what I've seen yesterday, he definitely does. Okay, he definitely does have all the intangibles. And if I had to pick a quarterback out of this draft class that is going to be a superstar before anybody else, it's going to be Malik Willis. And I say that with full confidence, 100% confidence. The guy has an absolute fucking cannon. They ran a go route where Malik Willis basically threw it fucking 50, 60 yards. The guy dropped it in the breadbasket. It was unbelievable to watch. He did that multiple times on different routes. I mean, his timing, his footwork, it looked, really, really clean. He has the body to do so. He's very, very quick, sort of. I mean, a lot of people, or at least I kind of compare him to a little bit of a Russell Wilson type of player, type of athlete. You're not going to get the same things out of him, obviously, that you would with Russell Wilson, but we obviously have no clue what Malik Willis kind of holds or is going to do in the future. But I honestly do believe, from what I got to witness, from what I got to see, him throwing the ball to the receivers, he has a very, very nice ball. He has some zip on that ball, is very accurate, can throw the ball as far as you really need him to do. And I think he has a good game manager from what I've kind of been hearing and what I've kind of seen. He did play at Liberty University, kind of a lower-ranked FCS school, or I think FCS or FBS school. So it's not really a highly sought-after college for really, really good talent to go there. But when they do have really good talent, they obviously hit it full steam running. And Malik Willis is definitely a guy that you got to keep your eyes on in the coming years, because I do believe wherever he goes, and if it's a good spot, he's going to have the opportunity to be a starter in this league very, very quickly. That's just my opinion. Who knows exactly how he is in the film room, how smart he is on the field. All that type of stuff will obviously come in time. But Malik Willis, like I said, watch out for this dude. Keep him in the back of your mind. Just know, in my opinion, out of all the quarterbacks that I got to watch, he's probably going to be the guy that's the superstar. That's what I've seen. That's what I kind of got out of it. If I'm a team that needs a quarterback, give me Malik Willis. That's who I want at my quarterback. He's mobile. Okay, he can still stay in the pocket, he can still sling it. And we've talked about the mobile quarterbacks and how I don't believe they're going to win a Super Bowl for at least the next 5 years, because in a way, the league is moving towards a mobile quarterback, leading towards that way or whatever. But as of right now, it's a pocket passing league. Okay, that's the type of quarterbacks that are going to go out, they're going to win Super Bowls, that's what they're going to do. And until that shift actually comes, you got to find a way to stay in the pocket, and I think Malik Willis can definitely do so. It just depends on his offensive line that he ends up getting drafted to, and all the other little stuff that kind of plays into being a great quarterback and a great human being. And he is a great human being. He actually helped a homeless man out the other day before his drills, where he basically just gave him it was really kind of hard to see, but it looked like a piece of clothing out of his own briefcase, and then kept walking. That's the type of man you're going to get when you get Malik Willis. Just a humble human being, a good human being, and a great athlete. I honestly do believe that. Desmond Ridder, he's also another guy that I'd kind of keep my eye on. He's a Cincinnati Bearcats quarterback. He ran I think close to a 4.56 or something like that, 40 times. So he's a quick guy. They compared him to Russell Wilson as well. He's a little taller, I believe, but he looks like he has all the intangibles as well to be a superstar quarterback, or at least a pretty solid quarterback, a starting caliber quarterback. I think those two, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, are a little bit better than Sam Howell, who's the quarterback from North Carolina Tar Heels, and Kenny Pickett, who was the quarterback for Pittsburgh College. I don't know what their mascot is off the top of my head. But Kenny Pickett obviously did look pretty calm. He did his thing. He was slinging the rock, did very well. I thought his ball was really smooth. His ball placement was pretty solid. Not really too many behind the receiver type of passes. It was all kind of right on the money. And he looked calm, cool, and collected. He kind of, it feels like he already knows, or he already thinks that he's going to be the first quarterback selected out of that quarterback class. And I guess that's the type of guy you kind of want, because, he doesn't care what all the other nonsense is, all the other noise, the outside noise. He doesn't let that affect him. He's just going to go out there. He's going to do what he can and do it at 100%, and usually come away with success. So all these quarterbacks did really, really well during their on-field drills. Only two quarterbacks, so there's two groups of quarterbacks and wide receivers. The first group, only two quarterbacks ran the 40. A lot of these quarterbacks are dealing with ankle injuries, ACL tears that are coming back, so they can throw the ball, but they're not going to they're not going to run. A lot of them are going to wait to do that until their pro day, where basically they go to their college or back to their college and put on a little show for all the scouts. And I think a lot of the pro days are televised, so it'll be interesting to see how much different they all look. Going back to where they've had success in the past, obviously. So the quarterbacks did a really good job. Tight ends did a pretty good job. But really, the wide receivers, man, they stole the fucking show. I mean, we have a huge class of wide receivers that I can't wait to watch in the NFL. And I say that with 100% honesty, because since 2003, since the NFL Combine became a thing back in 2003, the number one, or the fastest class, a wide receiver class, was I think it was in 2017, I believe it was, where they had 7 receivers run under a 4.40. That's fast as shit. They had 7. That set the record for most wide receivers to run below a 4.4 second 40. Well, this year, it was broke. Okay, in the draft class, at least that's what I'm kind of thinking. But this wide receiver class, this year, 9 receivers ran under a 4.4 second 40. Fast as shit. All these receivers are quick, ready to rock and roll. Their route running skills could use a little work, okay, obviously, but there are definitely some dogs in there. Jameson Williams, who was the wide receiver for Alabama Crimson Tide, he didn't perform, but obviously he's dealing with an ACL injury. He will perform during his pro day. But all these receivers, watch out, okay? This is going to be a very, very good class. Whoever you get, it shouldn't matter. At least that's what I gathered yesterday. A lot of these guys know how to catch the ball. You know that drill where they stand they face this way, whistle's blown, they quick fucking catch the ball, and then they start running, catch, turn up field. They did that drill. Not a single fucking one dropped it in the first group. Not a single one. It was so smooth. Like, all of them just clack, 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 up the field. It was just bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, whoa. In the past that I've watched this, or when I've watched this in the past, a lot of wide receivers, I mean, it just happens where, you're not familiar with the quarterback, you're not ready for the ball, you have to be quick on your feet, you have to have those cat-like reflexes, and a lot of times it's off the hands, or it's hitting somebody in the face like we seen in that one year. That was hilarious. But this wide receiver group is special. Very, very special. I mean, just the way they are just so calm. They know what they're doing. They know what they're about. And to have 9 wide receivers run over a 4.4 second 40, or under a 4.4 second 40, is ridiculous. Here are the names. that ran under that. So the top 10 wide receiver time, we'll start with number 10, is Sky Moore from Western Michigan. He ran a 4.41. So a tenth of a second basically away from having 10 wide receivers run under a 4.4 second 40. Now obviously, these are all official times. And official times is basically, so the ones that they ran yesterday, you get 2 attempts, you run them both. Those are considered unofficial times because they got to go back at the tape. They got to make sure all the linings, the clock was basically right, and to kind of give you a better understanding of what they're actually going to be running. But at number 9, Chris Olave from Ohio State ran a 4.39. And his counterpartner, Garrett Wilson at number 8 from Ohio State, ran a 4.38. And guess what? Ohio State wide receivers, these two, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, became just the second pair of wide receiver teammates since 2006 to run sub 4.4 40 times. Since 2006. Okay, they were teammates at Ohio State. These guys are ridiculously good, ridiculously fast. Their route running skills are next level. Their ball skills are next level. Their route running's next level. These guys are going to be special. Watch out for them. At number 7, Christian Watson from North Dakota State. Go big, go blue, go Jacks. I'll always be a Jackrabbit. Okay, even though I'm horns up for MSU as well. But, yeah, definitely a Jackrabbit. But whatever. He ran a 4.36 40. At number 6, Bo Melton from Rutgers ran a 4.34 40. At number 4, from SMU, Danny Gray ran a 4.33. From Cincinnati at number 4, Alec Pierce ran a 4.33. Number 3, Calvin Austin from Memphis ran a 4.32. At number 2, Velius Jones Jr. from Tennessee ran a 4.31. And the guy who stole the show, who broke John Ross's 40 time unofficially, think they should probably keep that, but they didn't. They wanted to give him an official time, and they kind of screwed him over. Tyquan Thornton from Baylor ran a 4.28 official 40 time. He was clocked at 4.21 unofficially at the combine, his first attempt. Dude's quick. Dude's ready to rock and roll, and I think he is going to be a great addition to anybody who gets him. He's going to, he just has room for improvement, but a 4.28 when it was a 4.21, 0.7 of a second they were off. Come on now. Okay, we got to be a little bit better than this. But it is what it is. Those were the times. 9 sub 4.4 40s, which broke the record from 5 years ago of DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin's draft class, who had 7. So be ready for this year's wide receiver class because they are something special. Like, very, very special. Just keep an eye out for them. So other than that, with the combine, those are the drills. Today we obviously have more drills. I think the running back group is going to be going. I think the offensive line will also be participating in today's drills. I believe those start at 3 as well, work their way to, I think, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Yesterday it was 3 to 10. Way too long, okay, but hey, I'm all for it. It was kind of boring because Rich Eisen and they're just kind of, it feels like a horse race. I mean, or like watching paint dry, you just kind of, you can literally mute it and just watch yourself and you'll be just fine watching it. It's easy, it's a long thing, but it's fun. But obviously with Combine Week, there's a lot more noise going to be happening, a lot more, cuts, additions are going to be happening because a lot of teams are over the salary cap and they got to get under the salary cap. They got to figure out what's going to be best for their team going forward to put them in the best position to possibly, put up for a run or make a run at the playoffs, make a run for a Super Bowl. You get it, all right? That's what they're trying to do. So I woke up this morning and got some interesting news that the Cowboys are going to be likely releasing superstar wide receiver, Amari Cooper. And that's kind of big news. Because, we all know what he did with the Las Vegas Raiders when he got drafted. He just wasn't working out after 1 season or 2 seasons or whatever he had there. ends up going to Dallas, becomes a superstar. I think he's had like 3 straight 1,000-yard season. He's their number 1 receiver, and it might not be the case because he's obviously in line to get a contract extension, going to be a free agent potentially, and they're not going to franchise tag him. They're going to make sure this guy gets paid. Now, releasing him is likely, but they are going to be looking for trade suitors first. Wherever they can find a potential fit for him, that's where they're going to do first, and if nothing pans out, they're going to end up releasing him, where Amari Cooper will be a free agent. So there's a lot of teams that might possibly need a wide receiver. New England Patriots, if they got Amari Cooper, that would be ridiculous, okay? I mean, just think about that. Green Bay. Oh, here's an interesting take. If they release Amari Cooper, if the Green Bay Packers can't fucking pay Davante Adams could be on the move to Dallas, and that'd be fucking mind-boggling, but that's for another time. But Green Bay Packers, if Davante Adams is gone, they might bring in Amari Cooper for something cheap. You never know. Probably not going to happen. Las Vegas Raiders need a wide receiver, so, well, he was already there. Maybe he goes back. I don't know how that whole thing will work out. Cincinnati Bengals, they have 58 or projected $58 million under the cap space, so they have that much to spend. They could be in the mix for that, even though I think they should focus on offensive line to protect Joe Burrow a little bit more, to give him more time to pass the ball, and I think that will ultimately help out their team in the long run. But Denver Broncos are one. I mean, there's a lot. Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, that'd be ridiculous to watch. So he is definitely going to be on the move. When that happens, I will be the first to let you know, unless it happens fucking tomorrow, which would be dumb. But maybe I'll let you know. So if he is released, that would create about $16 million in cap space for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think off the top of my head, it said they are... so it says... If the Cowboys cut Amari Cooper, he would count $6 million against their salary cap, not $22 million for a team that is projected to be more than $20 million. So they're projected to be $20 million over the cap space. So a trade is probably not going to be likely, I guess, but it's definitely a possibility. So this will save $16 million in the cap space if they get rid of him, and that will help. Okay, that'll help tremendously get him back down. So just be on the lookout for Amari Cooper to potentially be on his way out from the Dallas Cowboys organization. Which makes you wonder, are they going to take a wide receiver in the first round? And there's plenty of them, folks. Plenty of them, okay? In other news, the Patriots' J.C. Jackson, who is wanting a contract extension because the guy has been absolutely, positively ridiculous. Just phenomenal at what he's been doing. This past season, he had 44 solo tackles, 8 interceptions. He's a dog, wants a contract extension from the New England Patriots, but we all know that's not Bill Belichick's motto. He's going to get you for as cheap as possible. He's going to use you in the best way possible, make you a superstar, and when comes time to pay you, see you later. Because we don't have to pay you that when we can go find a young guy who will do the exact same thing and we'll pay him less money, save us more money, because we don't really need you. We know what kind of production we're going to end up getting with somebody we replace it with. So, see you later. And that is probably going to be, or most likely going to be the case. A lot of people were thinking he's potentially probably going to get franchise tagged. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen. He's probably going to get released by the New England Patriots. And, hey, if anyone needs a corner, Minnesota, if we don't get Ahmad Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley Jr. or the other fuckers out there, J.C. Jackson's available or is going to be available, and we better make a move. This man, listen, 4 years in New England. He had 24 total tackles in his first year with 3 interceptions, 6 pass deflections. In 2019, he had 36 total tackles, 10 pass deflections, 5 interceptions. In 2020, he had 40 total tackles, 14 pass deflections, 9 interceptions. And last year, 44 solo tackles, 14 assist tackles, 23 pass deflections, 8 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, by the way, and a forced fumble. This man is a maniac. He's really good at what he does. He's great at the cornerback position. Whoever needs a corner will get a very, very good one at the right price, obviously. It's definitely going to be spendy, but whoever it is if you need a corner, keep J.C. Jackson on your fucking radar because this man is ridiculously good at what he does, and that's get interceptions. He's only went up 3 to 5 to 9 to 8, but obviously he took one to the house. Okay, had a forced fumble, so you get it kind of equals out right there. But J.C. Jackson is potentially going to be, or is expected to be, a free agent within the coming days or weeks. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. You know, obviously we had to do an early show because the combine, the second round of the combine, obviously in the TV over here, it's not on right now. It's going to be on at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to have to dive into that. I have to watch that, and I'm going to be busy later. So that's why we did the show early, got out the information I need to get out, and so that I can go do my scouting myself, basically, or scouting of my, of whoever's fucking performing today. On the TV or at the scouting combine. So have a great rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Enjoy this beautiful weather. I think there's some freezing rain potentially going to be happening here. Hopefully that's not the case, but if it is, oh well. But have a great one. Enjoy the weather. Do some fun shit this weekend that you'll never forget for the rest of your life. Have a great one. We'll see you Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time. I mean, I could say like always, but I mean, we're here at fucking 2:25, 2:26, whatever the time is. So just 6 p.m. Central Time. Okay, we'll be back here. Thank you so much for joining, whether that be on Facebook, YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like, hit the share. If you're on fucking YouTube, yeah, hit the subscribe. Be much, much appreciated. Have a great one, folks. And you just got your fix with Wicks. Deuces.